And I want to ask you this. As we get new team members, one of the things, and Suzanne Sims says this all the time, I just wish they would get the memo. How do you get those new team members to get it so that they can be effective in their role and on the team and be a part of the culture and be a part of that fan experience?
Yeah, well, that is what we're trying to figure out all the time. Like, how do we help them get the memo? We as part of that committee we talked about earlier, we just finished StratOp is what we call it, where we just take a few hours and we just kind of get out of the business to work on the business. And in this case, it was the culture. And so we were like, okay, what components make up a culture? Like, how do we help people get the memo? And so we came up with mission, vision, values, behaviors, rituals, and cues. So what are those things? How do we help people get the memo? We're talking about our mission all the time. We're talking about our vision now all the time. We talk about our values all the time. Then we started looking at, okay, what are the behaviors that we have? We started to split those up. Okay, our beliefs are this, our values are this, and our core behaviors are, hey, we are excellent in the ordinary. Like, we started to just break these up into different things, so then we can look at how we're doing in each of those areas. How are we talking about the mission on a regular basis? How are we talking about the vision? How are we talking about our values? How are we talking about our behaviors? What rituals are we doing to emphasize these, and what cues? And the rituals are things like staff and Devo meetings, battle of the bands, cigar nights, happy hours, team lunches, onboarding. These are rituals that we do on a regular basis to talk about who we are and why we work. And so onboarding is a big deal. Those rituals, and then you have what we called cues, which were stuff that's on the wall wraps, video screens outside the elevators, coffee screens, the timeline wall, Dave doing core value talks, board members, senior leaders doing that. These one-liners, like, those are cues that people hear to be like, oh, yeah, they're not just saying that. That's something that's ingrained in here. And so I think if we do those things right, mission, vision, values, behaviors, rituals, and cues, that's how people start to get the memo. Oh, that's who we are.
Yeah. And it all comes back to intentionality.
100%.
And you can't just plaster it on a wall one time and go, well, I mean, there's our values.
Yeah.
You got to live it out.
And that you said, hey, when people come in the building and they feel something different, that is not only because of the timeline wall and the cool building. It's probably 25% that, but mostly it's the people.
Yeah.
And
a lot of times, Janelle at the front desk who greeted them with such warmth and joy. And every single piece along the way.
It is the people, most definitely. And so we want to show the new people who we are so that they become one of those, and we try to hire people who are like that already.
Yeah. And part of that, we have a great onboarding experience, which, I mean, when I came on board, it was, sad 9 years ago. It was like, here's a stack of papers. We're going to read through them, call it a day.
Right.
Now it's like a week-long event. There's games. I mean, it's incredible. Slight exaggeration. But it's come a long way in a decade from where it was. And that's a huge part of it.
I'll give you a little context on that. A couple of years ago, a few of us just went and sat through onboarding as if we were a new person. And we just took notes. Like, it wasn't like, let's beat it up in real time. It was, why are we talking about this? I don't even know if they're going to do this. Because you have a group that gets in their ways or whatever. And so that's where we were like, hey, let's reset this thing. But we had to go through it, experience it, take notes, and try to fix it.
Yeah. And we do have a high standard for excellence here across the board.
Yeah.
And, of course, a lot of that stems from Dave. And he's on the phone with customers 3 hours a day. I mean, what CEO could say that? So it's incredible that he has his finger on the pulse in that way.
And when I first started, I was a designer, and then I became a young creative director. Dave, he was helping me understand what the standard was.
I want to know what helping you understand looks like.
There was one point, one of my favorite stories now, years later, is I showed him, I can't remember whether it was a video or something for a book or something, and he just goes, I don't want to be too mean to him or whatever.
He's probably listening to this, just know that.
He was just like, do you really want to put that on our website? And I was just like, I knew going into the meeting that I wasn't proud of it. I just was worried about not living up to the whatever, and we got to do it, and we got to
deadlines.
I knew it wasn't
stuff.
good enough.
Yeah.
And I should have just said, this isn't good enough, and we got to figure something out. But as a new person, but he's like, he sets a standard as the CEO of what is okay, and that has trickled down over the years. And now we set the standards for the new people and the new people and the new people.